Pam Openshaw. I'm so excited to have Pam. She wrote this book, The Promises of the Constitution, and what they are is they're vignettes of just a short little commentary on all the different things of our Constitution. And we're so excited. She's got another book in her. She wants to do another book, but she needs some help. So we're going to let Pam. Do you need to sit down here and I can move? Are you? Okay. So we're going to let Pam tell you what she needs from us.
Hi, ladies. I haven't been here for a while, but I've missed this group. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate Colette's introduction. So I wrote Promises of the Constitution some years back, and then we wrote a workbook and a parent-teacher volume with the answers in it. And we've marketed that across the country, and it's been an exciting experience, and we've learned a lot of things, and created some DVDs. And then I lost my vision. I can kind of see that there are people out there, but I'm very limited on my vision. I'm no longer able to read anything. Well, that's not true, because if you buy the sour cream at Costco with the letters that say sour cream on it this big and they're black on a white container, if I really strain, I can see those. So it's not like I can't read anything, but I'm trying now to write a new book. I have it in me. I've learned so many things. I want to share those things, and I'm unable to do that because I cannot read to gain the materials. And so I have a lot in my brain, of course, that I've studied over the last 12 or 13 years. And I can pull part of that out. But it's, I have additional research that needs to be done. One of the main things that I've been focusing on, well, let me give you a little bit more information on that. So Bob and I traveled the country for several years, marketing our books and speaking at homeschool conventions and such places as that. We had a lot of really positive experiences with that, but I fell apart. It was just, we were pushing too hard, we were traveling too much. We did 25,000 miles one summer, and my body just couldn't take that, and so I fell apart. I thought it was fibromyalgia, but since then I've learned that I have some serious heart problems that I didn't know I had, so I'm not quite sure what the problem was there, but anyway, I prayed about it extensively, and the Spirit told me it was time to rest, so I did. But in the process, I've continued. You just can't lay on the bed, sorry, for 4 years. And so I've been doing a lot of audiobooks and the like, because that's how I can process information now. And so I've been gaining more information, plus I've been learning new things, and inside of me has been forming this desire that I need to put that in writing. But I felt like I couldn't do that because I couldn't see. Because the whole time that I've been going through this 6 or 7 year process now, my vision has just collapsed on me. And so I was really feeling very hopeless about the situation. I was fighting depression. I was laying on my bed every day listening to whatever library book I could get on an audio, and it just was a really negative experience. And so back in October, Bob and I talked about it, and I said, do you know what? I think I need to write this book no matter what kind of physical limitations I have connected to this. And so we talked about how we could do that. This is what I need to write about, sisters. I have learned through all the work that I've done and the research I've done that God is very involved in government, and most people are simply not aware of that. Bob and I, as we traveled for those years teaching at homeschool conventions and such, you know, we were teaching all over the place. I would present that information to people that God was involved in government, and we were going to Christian organizations. If you're going to teach the Constitution and you need to start someplace, you start with Christian organizations. And so I would stand and give presentations at these groups, and people were really drawn to this concept. They hadn't realized how very involved God is with government. Now, we understand that as members of the church because we have Doctrine and Covenants sections 98, 101, 109, and 134, where we talk about the Constitution. And we have statements from the Brethren, such as in 1976, we had the bicentennial statement from the Brethren on the value of the Constitution and how we needed to study that and make it part of our lives. We've had J. Reuben Clark Jr., we've had David O. McKay, we've had Ezra Taft Benson, we've had all of these marvelous church leaders that have taught us that. But out there in the Christian world, the rest of the Christian world, they really don't have that information. And so when I would stand and give them that information, I could just see them. I could see them come alive, and I could see that it meant something to them. And I began realizing we need to be talking about this. We need to share this. So as I spent all these 3 or 4 years laying on the bed reading books, I could feel it festering inside of me. I need to write. I need to share the things that I've learned. And so in October, when Bob and I talked about this, we said, let's try to do it. So I want to tell you what it's like to try and write a book when you can't read any information. Just ponder that. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. And so, but we talked about it, we prayed about it, we have felt real inspiration connected to going forward with this, just the same as we did when I wrote the first book. And this is what Heavenly Father has done for us so far, and it's been wonderful. We were able to find an editor that would work with me, understood my limitations, and is willing to fill in the gaps. We have found a researcher that does the really hard stuff for us. We've found individuals to help us with online information. And so with that information, I started forward, okay, how do I do this? And we just ran into one wall after another. I could feel Satan working on this. I can't tell you how I have felt the adversary trying to stop this process. The crunch was, how do I take what's in my brain and get it onto paper? Because I can't type, because I can't see anything that I'm doing. I can't see where my hands are going on the keyboard. I can't do any of that. And then I can't read what I've written, even if I could type it out. And so we tried a recording system, we tried a couple of other options that we could see, and none of it worked. And then the idea came, why don't I just hire some young women who will take dictation for me so that I can speak what it is I already know, and I can dictate it, and these individuals can type it for me. And so that's where we are right now. Our granddaughter, who is 22, a returned missionary and a student up at Utah State, is working for me now, and a young girl, 17 years old, homeschooled, high school senior, living in California, really fine young women. These two are taking the information as I can pull it out of my brain and put it on paper. So we've formatted the whole book, and the purpose of the book is to teach that God cares about government. And so I won't go through with you the sections and all of the things that we're doing in that book, but I'm excited about it, and I feel like the things that we're doing have worth. And I really want to bring this book forward, and so does Bob. So Bob is working very much with me on this process. So when I have ideas in my brain that need to go into a vignette, I can't keep all of that straight and keep all that format straight. So I tell Bob what I want to do, and he writes out the notes, and then we organize the notes, and then I speak it to one of our two typists over the phone, and she types out the information, and we perfect it. Now I write, as Colette said, in short vignettes. I don't know how to write anything longer than 550 words. Because that's what I've done now for the last 12 years, is write in 550 word increments, 1 page and a half. And that's one of the things that's been so appealing about the books that I've written, is that people love that format. So I'm all formatted to do that. It was Mark Twain who said, I would have written a shorter letter if I had had the time. It takes a long time to shorten a concept, and that's what I do. I work really hard with these typists. We type out all the information, and then we go back, we adjust, we arrange, we condense, we put all the information in there, but it's all in around 550 words. So that was a little bit of a tangent. So I've identified all the things that I want to put into the book, and some of the topics need to be researched. And some of the individuals that are going to go into the book need to be researched. To give you just a little bit of information about it, we're doing some foundation information, and then we're talking about God and his involvement in government in several different sections. And then we're addressing the concept that government is power, and that power has a tendency to work against what power can be used positively and negatively, and we are dealing with it in both cases during the book. And then we are concluding the book at the end with 3 different sections where we're talking about individuals and the impact that they have had on moving us either forward or backward in this process. So the first of those 3 sections about individuals will be those who have destroyed liberty. And we are talking about people like the Illuminati, Karl Marx, John Dewey, a bunch of individuals like that. Then the next section is those who have built liberty. And in that section, we're going to be talking about John Winthrop. We're talking about C.S. Lewis, individuals like that. And then in the final section, we are talking about the common people. I've learned about 2 different books that, and Bob and I have obtained them, where we have just the stories of individuals through the Revolutionary War and such times as that, and what they did to build freedom. And then we're going to pull in modern day examples of that, and that will constitute that last section. That was all introduction, ladies. Because here's where I am. I can't research the information. I know what the Spirit's directing me to do, and I know what the finished book needs to be like. And I know that once I have the information, I can process it into the 550-word increments. But what I cannot do is get the information, because I can't find enough books to read and enough sources to go to and enough assistance. So as I was really struggling for information on how to handle that situation, the prompting that came to me was that I was to ask for help. And one of the very first suggestions that came to my mind was to come to this group. So here's why I'm here today, ladies. I have a list of, so when we're done with this book, we're assuming we're going to have about 100 vignettes. So the book will end up being about 250 to 300 pages when we're done. The process, the topics are still evolving. We're learning how to put topics together and where we need to put in another vignette, but we're really assuming we're going to have about 100 vignettes. And so far we've been able to do 12 of them. And I believe that I can pull out the information to do most of the rest, but I have 22 topics that I need help researching. And I'm here today to ask if any of you would be willing to help me with that project. This is what I need. I would like to ask for individuals that would be willing to research one topic for me. Now, I'm only going to write 550 words on this topic. So I don't need masses of information, and I don't need weeks worth of research. I only need individuals that will read a book that can give you a good conservative and Christian orientation to the topic, and then give me the information so that you become my resource to give me what I need in order to write my 550-word vignette. Does that sound like something that some of you would be willing to do to help me?
Do you have the topic?
I want you to think about it.
She'll give you the book, the title of
I'll
the
get you the book, or if you want to check it out from the library, I will purchase you the book. I'll do whatever we need to do to get you your resource. And then I'm simply asking that you would read that book. If you want to do a little bit more online or a little bit more past that, you're welcome to do that. But I really am just asking for individuals who will read the book.
What book is it?
Whatever the topic is. I have 22 topics here that I need help with researching. And I would need you to gather that information, put it, if possible, into a written form, like in a Word document, not something that's going to be submitted to anyone, just something that gives me the information so that I can then process it with the typist and put it into the 550 words. That's what I'm asking for.
What's the time frame on it?
That's the interesting part, because if you, all of you do this in the next 3 weeks, I will drown. Of all the
So you need
information.
some time.
So I am not looking for anything that has to be done by a week from Thursday. I'm looking for individuals that would be willing to accept that responsibility. I'll work with you to help you find the source, to get the books ordered, to do whatever we need to do, and then you read it at your leisure. And when you have the information, if it's not convenient to you to type it out, I'll take it on the phone. You can speak it to me, and Bob will write the notes as we go. Or you can speak it to me when I have one of my typists on the line, and she can take the notes. I'm just asking you, please, gather the information for me, and then get me the information.
And you could even, I mean, could you not have, you guys could record it into your phone memo and send it to her, too.
Say that a little louder. Let
Or
me
you
tell
could
you.
record it. You could record that information instead of doing it on the phone and
Yes, we could.
record it.
And just
send
email it to Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can go however you want to get me the information. We'll find a way to do it. And our granddaughter is good about knowing what to do with things. We have another grandson that will help us with that. I just need, this is what I'm actually doing. I am asking to borrow your eyeballs. And that is literally what I'm asking for. You can read. Can't all of you see to read? I just can't do that anymore. I'm just asking for somebody who can read the information and then give it to me.
Will you
So-
give out his email so people online can hear?
Okay, let me just interrupt to tell you one quick thing. Hold that topic. Let me tell you why I'm losing my vision. And I probably have never told any of you this, but I was struck by lightning when I was 4.
Wow.
We were living in a small community of Silver City, New Mexico, and my parents had built a new house. This was a 1950s house, so you know how little they are, but they're 3 little bedrooms and 1 bath. And it was built on the side of a hill. And it was a 3-block long hill going down like this. And we were 1 block from the bottom, and the 2 blocks above that were totally unoccupied, and there was a road that went up there. And my older brother Barry, who's 2 years older than I am, we had one of those red flyer wagons, you know. I was born in 1943, which means I'm now 78. I'll just save you the math on that. And we had one of those red flyer wagons, Barry and I did, and during the summer we would pull it up to the top of the hill, and then we'd climb in it, and then we'd ride it clear down the 2 blocks till we got to our house. It was a really fun thing to do, although it was dangerous, and I'm surprised my mother let us do that. So we went out one day, and we were pulling the wagon up the hill, and we were along this road. Along one side of the road there were power lines, and along the other side of the road there was a row of tall trees. So there is no way under heaven a lightning strike should have ever come down between those two to hit the head of a 4-year-old child who was pulling a wagon. But that's what happened. It was one little cloud with a little bit of gray on the bottom, and it let out one lightning streak. It came down through that, and it hit me right here on the left side of my head.
Wow.
The
Lucky to
force
be
of the
alive.
lightning was so powerful that when help got to me, my knees were twisted around my neck. And my mother said that when she saw me, she knew that I would have to be dead because a human body couldn't be put into that form. And the lightning, as it went through my body, melted the metal handle, and those metal handles are thick, melted it to the shape of my hand. The only reason I survived was because there were rubber wheels on the wagon, and that grounded the electricity. But where the 4 wheels had been on the ground, it had created cracks in the ground in the shape of lightning strikes. So they took me to the hospital, and all kinds of things after that. But what we walked away from that situation was that it had mainly destroyed my hearing. So my hearing was almost gone in the left ear, and it was damaged in the right ear. However, when you're a 4-year-old and something like that happens to you, you just adapt, and I did. So I started sight reading, and that's how I hear people. at least for most of the years of my life, was by sight reading, but now I can't see. So you just made a comment to me, and you've repeated it twice, that I still haven't heard you. Now, I gave you that explanation so you would know that I am turning into Helen Keller as this my phone. So you're going to have to talk out. Would you repeat that comment again?
Which person? Was that Nancy?
Well, I was just saying if Bob would give his email.
Oh yeah, we can give you all that information. In fact, we have 2 papers with us today. I've given you the instructions on what to do.
I emailed them already to everybody.
Oh, wonderful.
So
Thank you.
you've got them on your emails at home or on your phones.
You are so confident. I don't understand how you keep up. Anyway, so the instructions are all printed, and on that information is our contact information, so you can reach us easily. And there's a list on that handout, and we have paper copies of it if you'd also like a paper copy. But we have a list of the 22 topics. There actually are 22 research that would be assignments. There are 11 topics that need to be addressed, and there are 11 individuals that need to be addressed. And so you could literally pick any one of those you want, although I don't need 2 people on any one topic. I only need 1 person on each topic. So if you would look at that information and then contact me. I have books on some of the topics, and I would be willing to loan my books. But if you would like to find your own book, or if you would like me to find you the book, or whatever you need to do, just let me know. And as I said, we will purchase you the book. You may keep the book. I just need the information.
So this is, I see here, little boxes of a bunch of titles, involvement of media and public education.
Yeah.
Those are all the books. Anglo-Saxon law.
Those are the topics.
Those are the topics.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I would just like to have you talk with me, or call us on the phone, or
Okay.
whatever you would like to do. You're going to be giving a presentation here shortly, right?
Yeah, but it'll be very short.
Oh, okay.
We're fine.
Well, do you mind if we just stay and I'd love to listen to your presentation.
Yeah, because we've got about 30 minutes, and I was just going to talk about the 20 powers. We'll probably get through maybe a half dozen.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, thank you, ladies. It's been
Thank
a
you.
pleasure to be here, and I appreciate your support and listening.
great. And your phone number, is it? Okay, here it is. It's at the bottom. It's in the email.